Hi everyone, it's Evan here from the Trade Risk on Monday, February 27th. We're intraday right now, about noontime Eastern, and I want to run through just a few trade ideas that are hitting my watch list, and a couple of these names I'm actually already in. We're going to start with the IWM real quick. We've seen a nice bid today in the small caps, in the risky assets, while the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, the Dow Jones largely are unchanged. We've talked about this for a couple of weeks now, that IWM is really, in my opinion, the group of stocks to pay attention to, as they really haven't participated in the rally this year. Slightly have, of course, but not to the extent of the S&P and the Qs and the Dow, and we should really be paying attention to this recent consolidation. 138 is the important level. We talked about it in last weekend's video, where we saw a nice little kind of bid here, a hold of support, if you will, on Friday's session, and now we're seeing continuation today towards the top end of this range, towards recent highs. So again, it's the close that matters. We're gonna have to see if we can finish and hold on to these gains into the close, but the small caps right now most interesting from a risk to reward standpoint, and a potential to continue this market rally higher, while perhaps the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and those really overbought sectors take a bit of a breather. So with that, let's take a look at a few names. XBI, we're going to start here. This is a position that we have on right now. This is the equal weighted biotech ETF. This again is most of these names tied into that small cap universe. And you can see ever since we started the year here, we've had this series of higher lows getting put in and higher highs here in the XBI. You could look at the IBB as well, but the XBI, in my opinion, looks a little bit better. You can see here on Friday we saw, very similar to the IWM, where we saw support hold. We had a 3-day sell-off off of these highs into the 20-period moving average. We saw a reversal here, continuation today. I like this higher low. We've been involved in this since, let's see, back here in 65-ish, 66 area, somewhere in here. We've taken half of our profits off already at the $69 level a couple weeks ago or a week ago. So we're still holding on to this. Not saying you should run out here and buy it now, but I think this again is an attractive area to pay attention to, and perhaps look for an entry here if this trend is going to continue to the upside. Next is TWLO. This is Twilio. We've talked about this one recently, and this is a name we're also now involved in. This is something we bought into on Friday right here on this reversal. We bought it for a couple of different reasons. First was the strong rally we saw off of, almost a 10-point rally from $26 to $35 on accelerating volume, and then we saw about a 6 or 7 day pullback into the 20-period moving average. On Friday specifically, we had this break of recent lows here, the 20-period, the trend line, this horizontal line, and then we saw a strong reversal and close at the highs. That was our entry point on Friday. We're seeing nice continuation here. I still think this looks interesting, even though it's up 2.8% today. This is a pretty fast mover, so just be aware of that. But you got a nice kind of bottoming pattern carved out. You want to pay attention to the weekly. That 20 period still kind of flattening out. It's not the most healthy longer term chart right now, but for a trade back up to $34, $35 and perhaps a breakout is something that you could pay attention to here in the short term. HUM. This is one I posted on the streams today. This one looks pretty interesting, mid-cap or perhaps large-cap name here. Humana, it's a little bit more of a boring sector, but it's something that structurally looks pretty attractive here, especially on a risk-to-reward basis on a longer-term time frame. You had a very long-term base, multi-year base from beginning of 2015 all the way to basically the end of last year, when we ripped out of this up to this 210 level, tagged all-time highs, consolidated, pulled back for about 3 or so months, and it looks like we're trying to bump up against this resistance once again here. So I like this above 208, maybe above 210. A longer term play, you'd want a wider stop loss, looking for a bigger target, in my opinion anyway, but that's something to just consider if you're longer term holders there. Amazon, we'll stick with the big cap names here. Amazon saw a few day pullback here off of all-time highs, kind of found some support at this trend line, at the 20 period, at this horizontal support in here. So looks interesting, getting a nice bid today, up 60 basis points, closing the gap. Very quickly could be at all-time highs. So if you're always looking for an entry in this stock, you get a 3-day pullback here, it might be interesting for you. And finally, GPN. This is the last name we're going to look at today. Again, maybe a little bit of a longer term horizon, not as volatile, but something that can still kind of move here. And again, from a risk reward standpoint, from a structural basis here of price action, this is setting up pretty nicely. You have a about a full year long base in here, and then you got a rally to the top end of it, this little mini tighter consolidation, and it looks like we're getting sort of a day one here, and it could be a breakout. Is this all-time highs? It is. So we're on pace to potentially close at all-time highs today here in GPN. So I like this name. I think this sets up pretty nicely. No position in this at this time. So I hope this video helps, gives you some ideas for the long side. Thank you guys for watching, and talk to you again soon.